Hello there, what's going on everyone? Today we're going to be doing an Endor build. The Battle of Endor, I wanted to do a 1200 point build and kind of do something that I would do if I was running the Battle of Endor. We're going to be able to do this pretty soon because the Super Star Destroyer is probably coming in April or May. We don't have a release date yet, but I'm really hoping we have it by mid-April. If that's the case, this is going to be much sooner than we think. We can actually do these epic big battles. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put the Rebel side together. I was watching the battle for Return of the Jedi again and trying to figure out how many of one ship they have, how many of another ship they have, but also trying to make it fit within 1,200 points. So here's what I came up with. We're going to run through it. This is going to be a 1,200 point build. It's going to be fun. I want to remind you guys there is still a few days left to enter the giveaway for a $25 Amazon gift card. So you can get an expansion of your choice, and all you have to do to enter to win that giveaway is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So one of the things I like to do in big builds is to try to give similar ships the same upgrades whenever possible. So you wouldn't see me doing 4 CR90s and all of them configured completely differently because it would be very easy to forget upgrades. That's one of the things we run into in Armada is if we have too much upgrades, we can easily forget them. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm going to do some similarities. So I'm going to run MC-80 assault cruisers. Now, trying to count the number of Mon Calamari ships, I believe there were actually 3 MC-80 Home 1 style and 2 MC-80 Liberty styles. But it's a little tricky to tell because in some scenes it looks clearly like there's only 2 of each, but then at least in one other scene after one has been blown up, I see another 2. So it's uncertain whether or not they actually had more than one of each there, or if it was just, hey, we're editing footage, we're putting pieces together, just reuse the same model over and over again. So what I'm doing for points purposes and for cinematic purposes is I'm going to use 2 of each. 2 of the Home 1 style Mon Cal ships and 2 of the Liberty style Mon Cal ships. So for the first one is going to be Home 1, and we'll have Admiral Akbar as our commander. We're only going to have one commander in this battle because this is a single 1,200 point list, and we're going to go with Akbar. For thematics, it's not necessarily the most technically proficient list in here, but that's okay. Akbar is still going to be helpful, still going to work. And with as many ships as you're going to have on the board, Akbar will probably be more useful than you might think. So, considering that, let's go ahead and we're running assault cruisers. One of the reasons I'm running assault cruiser over the command cruiser is the double defensive retrofit. I think one of the focal points for an enemy will be to take out my flagship. So one of the things I want to do is have these flagships have double offensive or defensive retrofits. First thing, electronic countermeasures. That's incredibly important. And then the second thing is reinforced blast doors. Reinforced blast doors is going to be very helpful when they do concentrate fire and I need to just get a whole bunch of damage off of my ship at one time. This will definitely help this ship survive. I'm going to be having another one that's very similar. That obviously won't be the Home 1 and won't be Admiral Akbar, but I want both of these to also have projection experts. Since I am going to be queuing up engineering commands an awful lot for my MC-80s, if in case I haven't taken damage yet, I want to be able to share shields with other ships. And that's what projection expert is going to give me. I'm going to duplicate this ship one time, which is going to copy everything else down here minus the uniques. So no Home 1 on this other one and no Admiral Akbar on this other one. But that's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have another one that's also running projection experts in case Akbar does get concentrate fired. Also, this second one can start sending shields back up here. This kind of covers my bases and then keeps both of them functionally the same, although this one will be the flagship, and we'll also want to be centrally located to try to give the Home 1 bonus to other ships, as well as to be able to have, I want them close enough to each other so that they can also spread shields out amongst the fleet. To round out my Mon Calamari ships, I will go ahead and start adding my Liberties. Now we do have the Star Cruiser and the Battle Cruiser. Star Cruiser's better at close range, while the Battle Cruiser is better at long range. I'm going to go with the Battle Cruiser just because in such a big battle, you're going to want I think you're going to want the red dice a little more so you can maximize the arc and the number of targets you're able to get. So we're going to go with one Battle Cruiser, and I'm going to make both of these the same, almost. I will make this top one the Liberty, though, just because we know the Liberty was the first ship to be destroyed in the Battle of Endor. And I'll just put that one out there for thematic's sake, and in case we do need to activate some squadrons, because we are going to have a lot of squadrons. We know that there were a lot of squadrons at the Battle of Endor, and I'm going to do my best to replicate those, although I cannot get Lando Calrissian in the Millennium Falcon, but we have a plan for that. Alright, so the Liberty is going to be equipped with a gunnery team, taking advantage of that frontal arc, or even if we have to, take advantage of the side arc in case we find ourselves in a sticky situation. We need to make use of Akbar. It's going to be doubly good for us, so gunnery team's going to be extra good on here. While granted, you'd say, why would you shoot out of the side arc with a Liberty-style MC-80? I say, you know, we're doing this for thematics as well as fun, and also trying to make the most out of it mechanically. This is a fun build. It's a thematic build. We're not trying to win a 1,200-point tournament right now. I don't even think there are any 1,200-point tournaments. We're trying to do something awesome, and that's what I'm working on here. Now, to limit the amount of upgrades we have, I'm just going to use the 2 turbo laser upgrades. I'm going to give ourselves XI-7s to kind of shut down the redirects, and I'm going to give us spinal armament so we can have extra dice in the front. So that's what we're going to work with here. That's also actually going to give us extra dice in the rear. The cool thing about that is we really don't have as much of a weak spot now. We can still shoot respectively out of our rear with the 2 black and a blue out of our rear if somebody manages to outflank us and get behind us like that. And even if they get on our side, we have Akbar to take care of that. So we're a threat at all angles this way, which is kind of fun. Certainly not the best use of points if you were trying to win a world championship, but I think this could make it fun, and you have a playable game this way. It'll be very fun. So we've got our big ships, right? That's our big ships. Now we need to start adding small capital ships. We know that there were an awful lot of GR-75s at the Battle of Endor. There were probably more GR-75s than any other ship. However, there is a hard cap of 2 in most games. You can fit up to 3 here, but I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to make them GR-75 combat retrofits. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to also give them CommsNet. And I'll double that one down. The thing about this is I do want them to be able to shoot. Why not? Give them some more stuff to do than just sit around and do nothing. I may have these guys just activating squadrons most of the game, and that's perfectly okay. I may certainly have them do that, but at the beginning of the game they may also pass out tokens. Extra tokens are good, especially for things like MC-80s with engineering. They love to have those engineering tokens. The GR-75s with CommsNet are just all-purpose, all the way awesome. Absolutely love them. So, we also have an awful lot of Dornian gunships at the Battle of Endor, which are not currently in Armada yet, so I can't add Dornian gunships. No problem. We're going to add CR-90s because we know we had a lot of Corellian Corvette blockade runners, right? The CR-90 is great. We're going to add my favorite upgrade, one of my favorite upgrades, the turbo laser reroute circuits. These make a tremendously strong gunships out of these little ships, and we're going to duplicate them 4 total. Well, so duplicate them 3 times, up to having 4 total CR-90s with turbo laser reroute circuits. This makes them very, very strong. I very much like it. Now, we also had some Nebulons, didn't we? They even mentioned the medical frigate. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and put a Nebulon B support refit, and we're going to give that Nebulon B support refit the Redemption title. The Redemption title is going to improve all of the engineering commands that people do at range 1. Not at range 1, but rather at 1 through 5. So this is going to be another centrally located ship. One of the reasons that Redemption's so cool in a build like this is because, first off, he's playing the role of that medical frigate that they were going after, because he's support. He's definitely geared for supporting the fleet. Best use of a medical frigate, right? But not only that, I'm going to have these MC-80s over here that are going to be doing engineering quite a bit. And they're going to want the extra point, very much so, because they have an engineering of 4. If they have a token, that'll bring them up to 6. That can bring them up to 7. Or that can mean just a token by itself can do at least 3. That's all kinds of cool. That can let us hand a shield out to somebody else and regenerate that same shield for just a token. It just gives us so much flexibility with those MC-80s. We got to keep Akbar alive. It's kind of like the rule, right? We've got to keep Akbar alive. And Redemption is going to help us do that because I do think these guys are going to be doing engineering a lot. This is actually a good use of Redemption. And plus, we had a lot of Nebulons at the Battle of Endor, too. So, and I'm going to add one of every title. I'm going to add another Nebulon support refit, and I'm going to give it Salvation. I don't want to load them too heavily up on upgrades, though, because, the Nebulons can also work with Akbar. They have very, very wide side arcs. Very likely to be able to do an Akbar slash on somebody, which is where you get one enemy in one side arc and another enemy in the other side arc, and you fire out of both broadsides at the same time. But Salvation is more or less wanting to shoot out of that front arc. But we never know. We never know because the front arc is so narrow. We never know if we're going to have our best shot in the front or not. It's kind of one of the reasons Nebulons don't see that much play, because they can be very, very tricky to play perfectly. And that's one of the things I think to be very effective with Nebulons, they do require you to play them perfectly. But we're not really concerned with playing them perfectly. We're concerned with having a fun game, and we're going to use all of our titles. We'll also put a Nebulon escort frigate, different than the support refits for above, and this one will be, yes, you guessed it, the amazing Yavaris, because that's going to allow for our squadrons to go twice. Very, very, very strong. And speaking of squadrons, we're at 997 points. We've got almost 1,000 points of ships already. Now, we do have a higher limit for squadrons, so we're going to be able to knock out. We have up to about 203 points of squadrons that we can go ahead and drop into this build, so let's just dive right in. First off, whoops, we want to make sure we're adding squadrons. We've got all of our different squadron cards. We've got our named squadrons up top. I'm going to throw in Han Solo as the leader. Now, Han Solo is absolutely not flying at the Battle of Endor. It's Lando who borrowed his ship. So this is actually, we're going to scrub this out, and we're going to call it Lando in the Millennium Falcon. We're just going to have to use the Han Solo card. This would actually be a great little promo, a little fake Lando as Han Solo, borrowing it from him. So this is effectively Lando right here in the Millennium Falcon with 9 Num right next to him. They are leading it, and that's what they're doing. Okay, and as Gold Leader, he's going to have Gold Squadron with him, because there we go. We're going to have Gold Squadron, the Y-Wing Bomber Escort. We are also going to add some Wedge, because we have to have Wedge, right? Wedge was totally there. Wedge was taking care of business, blowing up that Death Star, and his art is appropriate for the Battle of Endor, so of course we have to add Wedge. I'm going to add a couple more named bombers. I'm going to add Kian Farlander, who's a fantastic bomber. I went right past him, didn't I? I sure did. There he is. Kian Farlander in a B-Wing, because we need to make sure we have all of the all of our, we have to have named heroes for everything, right? And we need to have Green Squadron. We need to have Green Squadron blowing up the Superstar Destroyer's shields, right? We absolutely have to have that. That's effectively, you know, what's going to bring down the Superstar Destroyer. It might just be a giant squadron bomb. You never know. We also, you know, I feel like bringing Nora Wexley in. I think Nora Wexley is going to be very, very helpful when it comes to Superstar Destroyer destruction. And we also know from Aftermath that she was at the Battle of Endor. So I figure we can go ahead and add her. There were a lot of people that were at the Battle of Endor, but I also want to save enough points at this point to include some generics, because we do need some nameless heroes to go down swinging. And so we're going to add 2 more of our alphabet squadrons. And what I mean by that is 2 more generic A-Wings, 2 more generic B-Wings, 2 more generic X-Wings. Up, boom. To protect them, to cover them. And 2 more generic Y-Wings. And that brings us to 1199. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And so it's almost like I planned this out. And that's a lot of squadrons. That is 202 points of squadrons, which is totally legal without also being complete overkill, because I don't want to totally max how many squadrons I can have. I think I could have 300 points worth of squadrons in a 1,200 point build, but I just don't want to slow down the game that much more than I absolutely have to. If you'll notice, one thing that's glaring omission here is I have no intel. And with this many squadrons, you don't want a single TIE fighter to be able to fly in the middle and lock them all down. But that's one of the things I'm expecting to send the squadrons first, have them get into a big scrum with the enemy. Let's do the Battle of Endor build. I'm not putting any objectives into this build because I don't think we need objectives in a 1,200 point game. Let's just go at it. Bloodbath. The objective is we have to blow up the Death Star, right? We have to give Han more time. We have to give Han more time to get that shield down, or this will be the shortest offensive in history. You know what I'm talking about. Works every time. All right. Well, that is the build, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I am using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder, which I will link in the description as well. So, yeah, just having fun with this. And then I'll probably be doing a Superstar Destroyer build soon as well for the Empire's version. Although that one's going to be a little trickier because they had way more stuff. They just didn't, well, you know, we'll do a subset. We'll make it work. we'll make it work. We'll do a thematic version to make it work. Here's a spoiler warning. It's going to have a lot of Imperial Star Destroyers in it. Imagine that. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.